Hi, my name's Deb. I'm 34 years old, married, and blessed with two children, two girls to be exact. But today I won't be talking about motherhood nor parenthood, not even about marriage. I am going to talk about some things that I wish should have happened, and I'm going to emphasize on should. I should have done or should have known pre-marriage, pre-parenthood, or pre-adulthood that could have, better equipped me or prepared me to this life. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not happy with where I'm at this point in my life, because I am, with its highs and its lows. And I'm still a firm believer that things happen because they are meant to happen, and that there is a greater plan, the best one, I should say, that's meant for us. But what I'm trying to say is that there are things I've realized I could have done better, or I could simply have done way earlier in my life. And that I am in the hopes that if still young, perhaps in your 20s, this might be of help or not. What are the top 5 things I wish I have learned when I was in my 20s? Number 5, do not be consumed with wanting to please everyone. Now, what I've learned over the years is that you can't. You just can't simply please everyone, and that's reality. Now, if you do that, you will just be wasting your energy and your time trying to get everyone's approval, because that won't ever happen. And I'm not saying that, you have to live your life without care or without being sensitive to others, because we're human beings and we're supposed to be social. We're wired that way. But please know when to stop. Years ago, I would have been worried about someone disliking me or some friends liking other friends more than me. And if there was something about myself that they didn't like, I try not to be myself when I'm with them, trying to be in, to feel valued. But the reality is that I was not happy. I was exactly lost. Because that happiness that I felt when, I thought I was being accepted, it was temporary. And when I was alone and I was myself, the one that I was so afraid of showing everyone, I was not happy. I did not like myself because people did not like that version of myself. And I realized that it was so wrong and so twisted, to use other people's approval as your yardstick of being good. If you want to be good, then be good. Everything will just follow. Now, if trying to be liked by everyone brings more destruction to yourself than the good that you're expecting from it, then stop. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're doomed to self-destruction. Number 4. Now, this is quite a bit controversial, but I have to say it. Number 4, remove the people or things that steal your joy. Now, I repeat, remove the people who steal your joy. This might be one of the most powerful ways that you can live your life. May it be in terms of your productivity or your prosperity, in terms of your happiness and your sense of peace. Now, you might not agree with me on this, but this may be, one of the best ways to rid yourself of discontent, of emptiness, and not to mention stress. Now, there is a model that has been absolutely transformational for people around the globe, and it is called Joy is a GPS. And it is believed that there are 3 elements that help you dramatically improve your inner joy. And one of those 3 elements is the people who steal your joy. Now, I know that it's easier said than done. And this model suggests that you make a list of the things or people that steal your joy, and another list of those that, give you joy. In a simpler context, you may find that seeing or hearing all the negativities in social media is giving you everything but peace of mind. And so you decide to delete or deactivate, let's say, your Facebook account. Or perhaps delete or unfollow some toxic friends on the list because, sometimes it gets too noisy out there. It gets so overwhelming, and sometimes you just get lost in all that noise. Social media is crazy, and it can get crazier if you allow it. Now, on a more serious note, you may also find that some of these people who are stealing your joy are actually those people who are also giving you one. And that makes it harder. Some of you may ask, what if it's my mother or my best friend or my spouse that I think is stealing my joy? Now, this model simply says that people come into our lives for reasons, seasons, or a lifetime. And this brings me to the third thing that I wish I've known earlier in my life. Now, you have to know that number 4 and the next 2 things that I'll be discussing are interrelated, and they affect each other. Now, number 3, do not give your power away to other people. Now, you have a lot of power, more than you ever know, and maybe exercising less in awareness. And, you have the power to let go of people. Or you can practice selective association. Let's say you decide to talk to people who steal your joy once a week, rather than getting intoxicated every day. Or see them less than usual. Or you can choose to, limit your social media exposure. You can set a time when to check the news when it's giving you anxiety. You can set a time for social media to refrain from attacking your emotions and your thoughts throughout the day. Perhaps you can check online in the morning, and that's it for the day. Just to give yourself that space to breathe and recollect yourself. The main point here is that I wish I have learned when I was younger that you can either live in a world with energy vampires or you can change that world, but you can't have both. Which brings me to number 2. Number 2, if you can't change the world, change your heart. Again, it's easier said than done. But when you get a lot of practice in motivation and that sense of belongingness to this world, and you have the faith that everything and everyone is brought to you, even if it's passing or permanent, that they were brought to you with a purpose. And by knowing that, by accepting that, and by allowing yourself, to take charge of your heart and your mind, you can consciously set the direction of your sail, right? Now, you have now the heart to accept the things that you cannot change and have the courage, as they say it, to just change the way you see things. And by then, perhaps, you won't need to delete people from your life, but rather delete the negativities that hinder you from seeing the good in people and the purpose in unfortunate events. That everyone and everything that happens to you is for your growth. And then maybe, you won't be able, or you won't feel that joy is being taken away from you. Because again, number 3, you do not give people that power. Do not allow people or any circumstance to steal your joy. The last thing, but the number 1 thing that I wish I've learned in my early years, well, it has nothing to do with the previous 4 philosophies I've been discussing, but has everything to do with the now. Number 1 thing I wish I've learned earlier is to save for the rainy days. Now, I can't emphasize that enough. I know that as much as we try to be ready for unfortunate events, life sometimes always has its way of throwing us into the curveball. And most of us, we would want to save, but because there are times that it seems impossible to do so, with having more responsibilities that we need to prioritize, many of us fail to save up and set aside for the rainy days. Once again, I cannot stress enough the importance of having savings. Believe me, I am still learning and I don't even have that much money set aside. And I know that this might be a little too late, but as they say it's better late than never. But the thing is, I wish I have understood or perhaps put more importance to savings when I was younger. Back when there was more money coming in than should have gone out. Back when there were lesser responsibilities and more opportunities to set aside and save up. Now, I wish I have developed in my younger years, the habit of budgeting and saving. Then I could have faced this pandemic in a calmer, fashionable, and more peaceful manner. Then I could have helped others more. Then I could have had enough for other emergencies other than food. But, I will not talk more about saving because that deserves a lone episode, But yes, my number one should have, when I was in my 20s, was that I should have learned to save and invest in my early years. So, if you're young and you're watching this, please know that saving will definitely save your ass in the future. Do it and do it now. There you have it, guys. I hope I was able to somehow make sense. And if you don't agree with the things I've said, there's no need to bash. You can always make your own realizations. And, let's agree to disagree. But thanks for watching and please stay home. COVID-19 positive cases in the Philippines is continuously rising, and the government, most especially our loved ones, needed our cooperation now more than ever. So we will get through this with God's grace. So stay calm and please stay home.